It's getting hot in here, so take off all your clothes. I am getting so hot, I want to take my clothes off. Hey, what's good, people, man? Platinum Bearded Dread. Tells in my house, man. Question, man. Do you fancy getting naked? Question, man. How many layers do you think you wear? How many layers do we wear? I'm not talking about vests and jumpers and stuff like that. But I'm talking about, the idea that when we walk around our everyday lives, even in our families, we don't really know who we're looking at because most of us are wearing some sort of mask or layers, if you like, that conceal, the essence of who we really are. And we all have our own reasons for why we're covering this over, if you like. And it seems like the older we get, the more layers we build up. For whatever reason. I remember, what was that movie called? The Mask. A movie called The Mask with Jim Carrey. And just basically, it was basically about a geeky kind of guy who wasn't that popular with women. And one day, he stumbles upon an ancient mask floating in the river. He gets hold of the mask, and he realizes that whenever he puts that mask on, he becomes this super confident, almost heroic person. And as a result of that character, he's able to win over a certain young lady who he, all up till now, she'd completely blanked him, ignored him, because she was very sassy, very confident, and all that stuff, and all the men, she turned heads. But with this character, she found a liking to him and attracted her. And also in the same movie, you always got a villain somewhere. A villain found out about the mask and he steals it, and he becomes like a super tyrant. So what the mask does in both cases, which is interesting, which I found interesting, is that it exaggerates the person's character. So you become not just a tyrant, but a super tyrant. But anyway, it's almost like we do a similar thing in a sense that we hide behind something that we hope will give us more appeal or more likability, if you like. Just like the mask. And what was interesting in the mask was that when his love interest, the geeky guy, Jim Carrey's character, found out that it was a mask, that he was behind a mask, so to speak, she was no longer attracted to him in the same way because she liked his vulnerability, his realness, and then he realised that he always was that person capable of winning over that particular woman, but he assumed it was based on something that that exaggerated all those things that he thought was what was appealing. And it's similar to us in a sense because when we walk around with our particular masks on, we don't realise that everyone is wearing a mask, layers, some more than others. And we're so busy worried about our own layers that they really ain't looking at yours. So we're putting ourselves through all this, inner turmoil, trying to be pleasing to people around us, while they're too busy or too preoccupied with their own insecurities that are laid up with layers upon layers upon layers. If that makes sense. I work in a school, special needs school at the moment, and it's such a funny place to be because, you always get laughs every day. But what makes this place funny is because whether it's to do with their special needs or whatever the situation is, but many of the children there don't have no filter. Their worldview is very different to ours. While the staff and the teachers are going in there, with their typical masks that they carry and stuff like that they wear, these children are just, it's almost like they're the most free people in the world because the layers they're wearing, if any, is very minimal. And there's one young man that I really took a liking to, a big guy, and most of the staff were intimidated by him because he was not only unpredictable with his mouth, but with his hands, he in an aggressive manner, that is. But anyway, we hit it off really well. And I remember one time we stepped into the lift, and one of the teachers was just about to step in the lift, and she was a big woman too. And he said to her, "You don't really want to get into this lift because you're too heavy, and the lift might drop to the bottom." And I, sorry man, and he said it in such an innocent way, but he wasn't attacking her. He just highlighted on the fact that she was a big woman, and I could see her face, and I tried to pretend I didn't hear. And the reason why he wasn't attacking her is because he was big. He was just as big as she was, but he had the freedom to say what he felt. He didn't care what the response was going to be. He was the same kind of guy that would just randomly just in the middle of the hall lay on his back and say, beautiful, like that. And while everybody's looking at him strange in terms of the adults, I'm loving it because I'm admiring the amount of freedom that he has, that many of us have denied ourselves with all these layers and layers. Now don't get me wrong, we need a certain amount of layer, if you like, because we have to know certain things we don't do, not even don't do, certain things that might not fit us in certain areas. Like for instance, it'd be foolish for me to run around in the street naked. Well, at least that's what I think, but that's an argument in itself, because some people, but anyway, but you see what I mean? So there's certain areas where we might feel that, yeah man, you need something. But the amount of layers that we build up from childhood, I remember when I was speaking to my son, when he had just started school, and he was, complaining that, he hasn't made no friends, quite a shy boy, especially at that particular time, because he had been homeschooled all his life. And he said he'll never make friends and this, and I was saying to him, son, don't worry, man. You're a lovely boy, first of all, and secondly, don't force it. They'll come. The ones that for you will come, and the ones that not for you, you want them around you anyway. You just be yourself. All you need to do is be yourself. And I realised that I was really talking to myself, and I get that a lot when I speak to my son. That even though I'm giving him advice, it's like a mirror. It's like I'm giving myself advice at the same time, if that makes sense. And it's the whole notion that we wear these masks really to try and be accepted, to be liked, to fit in, and that we don't seem to grow out of that. It seems like that gets worse and worse, but more subtle. It's easy to see in children. They want to be part of it. They don't want to be out of the group, and they want to make friends. But that doesn't necessarily change with adults. And in adults it's more intensified because we've built up more and more layers. If I use myself as an example, I do music and singing stuff, and so I had been using what do you call it, eyeliner to blacken the beard, the platinum part of the beard. So no one knew that my beard was platinum. They just saw the black, and I guess I did that because I'm assuming that. Well, I'm thinking that in this industry, you don't really see singers with platinum beards, and if you're less likely to have success and people to warm to you and stuff like that. So I'm doing my thing, blackening my beard as I do every day. I do it before work. Get up in the morning, blacken up my beard, and step into school where I work and stuff like that. One particular day, stepped into school, I do my normal routine, put my bag down, go into the toilet to look in the mirror and just take a breathe or two. So I look in the mirror, and to my horror, I forgot to put the eyeliner on my beard, man. Now bear in mind, right, no one has seen it as it is. They're just assuming, oh, he's just got a black beard. And I'm thinking, oh shit, man. And I actually start laughing because normally I have it in my pocket just in case to top it up. But it weren't there, man. So I'm looking in the mirror thinking, what the hell, man? What am I going to do? Because I can't exactly go home. I'm about to start the day of work. So I got no choice. I've got to step out. And I'm in the classroom trying to put my chin in my chest and put my hand on my chin, everything to try and hide it. And then all of a sudden one of the children says, Fidel, why is your beard so dusty? Sorry, man. My gosh, man, I wanted the world to swallow me up. I wanted to disappear there and then. Half in laughter, but half, no, not laughter at all, man. Embarrassing and shame, man. Luckily enough for me, it didn't attract too much attention. But when I got home, it made me really analyse myself, man. who am I doing it for, man? And what am I so afraid of? And I carried on this whole journey of, no, I can't, you know, unsure now. You can't go backwards because now people have seen it. And my brother, who's also in the entertainment industry, he had gone one step ahead of me because he'd gone through the same thing and decided to just let his grow. So when I spoke to him about it, he said to me, nah, man, own that shit, as he put it. So from that moment onwards, I just stopped putting on the black and the eyeliner and just rocked it as it was. Hence the name Platinum Bearded Dread. And since then, it's been cool, man. But it was so weird looking back because I was so, if I'm honest, terrified, man. Yeah, of how people would receive me as an artist, as a singer. You know, seeing the full me in that sense. But now looking back on it, it was a blessing, and it was one of the best things I did because it gave me an element of freedom. And if you think about it, we're all going through something which we're covering up with layers. Some women would refuse to leave the house without full makeup, the full works. It takes a whole hour to put on, but they'll wake up an hour earlier before they go to work or before they meet their partner, whatever it is. But they're not leaving the house without full makeup. You've got guys walking around tense in their hope to see six-pack, you know, even to the point where they look like they're constipated, man. But they're walking around like that because they want a muscular frame and six-pack so badly that they're just tense. And they dare not loosen up, you know, for fear of looking out of shape or whatever. You've got men that will not leave the house without a hat. They won't leave the house without a hat. I went through a similar thing. I think I said in one of my other posts that when I cut my hair, my locks, and decided to start regrowing it, and I put I had my partner at the time, put little blue thread, that's all we had at the time, little finger plaits in my hair to stimulate to grow. So I'd wear a hat non-stop. And then one time when I was in the youth centre with the children, one of the children pulled off my hat, and said, ta-da! So, exposing a head full of blue string around these little finger plaits. Again, man, anyway. But my point is, the things we do, and who are we doing it for, man? Back to the onion. I remember I mentioned earlier on that the ancient ones, they see the human being as an onion, and that we need to start stripping away the layers of the onion. And that's the journey that they embark on, that many of us are afraid to do because, in essence, it's like we're getting more and more naked. But anyway, that's what they embark on. And you know, when you start removing the layers of the onion, and you get to the very last layer, what's next? What's left? Nothing. And that nothing symbolizes the essence of where everything comes from. It symbolizes the essence of the true power of what gives everything life. You know, I like to use the word Allah. Some say Jah, some say Christ, some say universal consciousness, whatever it is. But if you notice, it's that subtle, almost invisible energy or force, if you like, that is the power behind everything. And when we start to embark on that journey where we start peeling back the layers, not only are we freeing ourselves, we're getting more and more and more closer to the source of all life, where all the power is. And it's scary because you feel vulnerable, but with each layer that you take off, after going through that vulnerable, terrified state, if you like, you become more and more free, to the point where you become, one with that almost invisible nature of what we all are, which is where the power is. The power is, if that makes sense. But it takes a very brave person, an honest person, to start stripping away the layers. And maybe sometimes it's good to look at young children, and even children, like I said, with special needs, to remind ourselves, where did all these layers come from? And to encourage us to start taking the layers off and get naked. But anyway, man, hope this ain't too metaphysical, man, but let me know your thoughts, man. You ready to get naked? Platinum Bearded Dread, Tales in my house, man. Oh yeah, don't forget, hit the like button, subscribe or something, and we'll do this again. Cheer, man.